Yo, welcome in, guys. Lingers here. I'm just bringing you my Rage DPS and tank loadouts. This is an in-depth guide. I will say Rage might just isn't that great. So obviously I am precision in this situation. Um, Most of my builds are probably going to be precision. I did do a might fire previously. Um, but yeah. We are precision because Rage might just isn't that great. Let's jump into the DPS first. We'll do the DPS first. So, one thing I will say is if you are might and you are Rage, the melee loadout is actually not that bad, but you need a scrap of the soul cloak and you need the two cards for it to actually be half decent. The big pet peeve with it is your melee, so you're really close combat, and you can die quite easily, quite often. So that's entirely up to you if you want to run the might loadout. If you are the might loadout, obviously your loadout wouldn't look like this. It would probably be something like this. Um, you could run severe punishment. Is that maybe on around here somewhere? Or is it not the same? But I'd run probably something like this, and then I'd probably do where are you? Outrage, and then I'd probably do like lacerate. And this would probably be the might loadout, so you'd probably just do this, and then you do that, into the whirling dervish, into this again, and just rinse and repeat. And every time your other ability was up again, you would rock it. The reason why you would run scrap, obviously my scrap isn't up to where I want it to be, but if you had a 200 scrap, it's insane. Like a 200 scrap, you get 20%, 27% reduction to your supercharge costs, and then on top of that, furthermore, your supercharge ability cooldown is reduced by 22.5%. Which is just insane. So, yeah, highly recommend. But obviously, like I say, we're precision because precision is obviously a little bit better. We're still running the scrap of the soul cloak with the two cards. The reason why I run this is just because it outperforms anything else. Another good option would be Quizlet. Quizlet is a solid option as well. On top of that, when we do go to buff ourselves with all of our trinkets on our utility belt, we do slot the Dead King Scepter. I highly recommend getting this. This is just really good. So whenever I use my orbital chance, I get 20% chance to reduce the cost of my pets, my henchmen, and my supply drop trinkets. So obviously we pop that on, and then we literally rinse through our stuff like this, and then all of that's gonna get all that cooldown. We let it run its duration, and then we swap it back. That's all I do art wise on this build. In terms of our loadout, obviously we are running Relentless Anger. This is our supercharged generator. This is going to help with soul scrap of the soul cloak. It's going to help us generate more supercharge so we can get more supercharges off, which is what we want. We also take our weapon buff. This gives us additional damage to our weapon attacks. Um, Definitely needed as precision. I have phase dodge. I'll explain about this in a minute. This is just like a clip ability for us. Then we have Berserk, and then I have my 2 other clips. What we clip with our weapon attacks, which are Whirl and Dervish and Vortex Trap. So the way that this loadout works is obviously you do 1 and 2. You do weapon attack Whirl and Dervish, weapon attack Vortex. But to note, when you do the Vortex, if you don't jump, you're stuck in this animation. You have to jump cancel that. You can't. So with the Whirl and Dervish, you can weapon attack out. Not an issue. But with the Vortex, you can't weapon attack out. As you can see, I was spamming my weapon just to show you guys, you know, that I was spamming that. You have to do the jump cancel with that ability. And yeah, the loadout pretty much looks like this. You do 1 and 2, weapon attack, jump cancel, weapon attack, double Whirl and Dervish, that one, and then you hit 1 and 3. And you just rinse and repeat. That's pretty much a loadout. It's as boring as that, but it's effective. And you generate a lot of supercharge. And then we just spam Berserk as much as possible. Whenever it's up, we kind of spam it, you know, as much as possible. In terms of our allies, I do have Superman, Black Adam for the supercharge generator. Gives me 20% more currently in my situation. Obviously, when he's maxed, you get more again. And then obviously static. All of my guys are at 7. They're not at 10. So I am losing out on a lot of damage. But obviously, once I get these up, plus my artifacts aren't they're not 200. So I'm losing a lot of damage and stuff from that as well. So take that into consideration. But yeah, it's a pretty solid thing. Let me I'm just gonna do a quickly do a rotate. Well, in fact, there you go. We got a 3 mil right there. You know, it'll do 3 mil plus easy, and that's even with what I have without no supercharge. So if I'm dumping a supercharge, I'm probably closer to the 4 mil mark with this build, which is it's just insane. In terms of our spec, obviously we have weapon expert because we're precision. I then take critical attack chance, critical attack damage, take the precision, and then whatever I have left over, I do take into might and power. In terms of our iconic powers, I did grab 3. I grabbed the robot psychic, and I grabbed Neo Venom boost and super strength. The reason why I grabbed these is you never know if you're gonna need the psychic, and you never know if you want to swap out for Neo Venom. You know, in terms of the hard light shield, you could grab it if you really wanted to. Personally, I don't, because obviously with rage we have redirected shield, redirected rage, which is also a shield, which allows us just to have just as equally as good shield in the power class. So, and water would probably be the same because you could just take bubble. Some powers, if you are a power what doesn't have shield, I would say probably get hard light shield, but yeah, that's other powers problems. Yeah, that's pretty much the AoE. So my single target doesn't really change too dramatically. Personally, obviously I haven't got a single target weapon right now. Personally, I would go dual wield into the bow. You will pull considerable more damage as a single target, but because I'm only rocking the 1 weapon, which is my brawling, I stay brawling, but we did kind of go a little bit more single target-y, and the loadout stays the same. The only difference is the way that I set my allies up. So the allies, I have crypto instead. So crypto does a lot of single target damage. He's kind of my bread and butter right now for single target, and then the other 2 stay the same with Black Adam for the supercharged generator, and then static for the supercharge. Increased critical attack ability and critical attack chance and damage and stuff. You know. That's pretty much it. But personally, if you can get yourself a dual wield, I would recommend rocking a dual wield weapon as a single target, dual wield onto the bow. Obviously, I just stay brawling because I'm just lazy. I'm done with the two weapon combination. I don't really care too much for doing too much damage. I'm not a damage board chaser, so I just do the one weapon and I'm cushy, dude. You know what I mean? So that's that. Like I say again, if you wanted a little bit more damage as single target, I could just drop scrap and then run quiz. That having that extra pet is kind of like a robot sidekick without having robot sidekick on my bar. It would just generate a little bit more damage. So that is an option as well, what you can do. That's the DPS covered. Obviously, stats stay the same way. I spec it the same way. Iconics are all the same and stuff. So yeah. Let's jump into the tank. This is my tank. This guy is running Everyman Prototype, Mystic Symbol of 7, and Manacles of Force. I would highly recommend running these. I do have a lasso for other situational methods. I did speak on this in the old fire video, what I did. I think lasso is very, very situational, but it's a very good artifact for a tank in certain situations. So yeah, definitely recommend getting a lasso of truth too. Obviously my arts aren't very high, but these are the main ones what I would probably go to for any tank. And then if I wanted to run lasso, I would drop it for the manacles. And then I would still keep Everyman and Mystic with the lasso setup, because I think that's just the best go-to combination what you can do in terms of running a lasso with the other type of tank artifacts. If you're ice, Circe's Mask is another good option, but like I say, we're rage, so we don't really typically need it. But yeah, that's pretty much that. And then the allies, I take obviously Poison Ivy. We take the additional power, passive power generation from Cyborg. And then I take Exabyte Overdrive from Future Lex. He increases our dominance and our restoration. So that's really nice. So yeah, that's my go-to. The reason why I run Ivy is because if I drop her over here, she will grab the whole group. And she grabs them all, pulls them all in, and then she puts a DOT on them for a couple of seconds. So I really feel like Poison Ivy is really, really good for a tank. It's a free pull. Sometimes I don't want to be sitting around waiting for people to kill stuff. If I feel like the group's gonna kill these people, and I want to run over to the next group and go grab the next bunch of ads, I drop Poison Ivy. They've got a good 2-3 seconds, maybe 4 seconds to kill that group of ads, which is more than enough time. And then I'm already at the next group, got the next group pulled together, so they can just rock up and kill. So yeah, it's Poison Ivy's quite handy to have as a tank. Obviously, the passive power recovery, that's always nice as a tank, just to have endless power. It's always nice to have good survivability with power. And then obviously Exabyte Overdrive's really nice as well, because when them big hits hit us, especially in the like elite contents and that, and then boom, I get kicked in with the Exabyte Overdrive and I gain that additional defense, additional dominance, and additional restro for the 9 seconds. It's huge. It's definitely worth as a tank. In terms of our loadout, we are taking Ragebringer. We take Severe Punishment. We take Dreadful Blast, Without Mercy, Redirected Rage, and Hard Light Shield. The reason why I'm not running Superman and I'm not running the group breakout and Eerie, you can do that if you really wanted to. If you didn't want Cyborg and you wanted to run Superman, you could do that. Problem is with that is you would have to drop either one of your shields, you know, or you drop your 360 degrees pole, and then you would run Airy there. The reason why I don't do this anymore is because I don't typically like it. It doesn't feel right with Rage to do that. So that being said, I take the more traditional type of loadout and, you know, I run this. Now this loadout's actually very thought through and very, very good. So when I'm pulling and I'm getting beaten on right now, we're getting slammed, beaten on, I rage crash and then I put up one shield. Okay. I'm still tanking. Right? It all syncs together. Because by the time we rage crash this, we use our second shield. Okay. And then it's literally just rinse and repeat, as you can see. We're just bouncing between them two shields. We're cancelling and bouncing between them two shields, which is hard light and redirected rage. And they both come up off of cooldown before you need to rage crash. So the timing of this loadout is perfect for a tank situation. See, now, like I was saying, the only difference is if I'm running Lasso, I would obviously drop Manacles of Force for Lasso, and then obviously Ragebringer would be dropped for Lasso, and that would be a Lasso loadout. That's the only difference. Nothing else changes. Everything else stays the same. Obviously, the way that we spec in our stat points, I've explained this before. I never go hybrid. I can't justify having 5% dominance and 5% restro in terms of versus unlimited power, because the superpower just gives us so much regenerated power. We don't run out of power. So realistically, I would rather the 10% power and the additional 25% power regeneration over 5% dominance and 5% restro all day, every day. Plus, the problem is with hybrid, you have to do weapon attacks to get your power. The good thing with superpowered, you don't have to. So I do recommend superpowered on every single build, unless you're a precision DPS, and then obviously you take weapon expert. If I'm a might DPS, a healer, a tank, a troll, I always take superpowered. That's just my personal preference. We're all different. I just can't justify these 5% and even the 10% might when I can get the 10% might here and then get that power regeneration and an extra 10% power. It's just better. It's a better stat for me, and the way that I play. Obviously, we're going the critical healing chance. This gives us 20% increased critical healing chance whenever we're doing our healing. Obviously, we take the critical healing magnitude. That gives us an additional 80% critical healing magnitude, which makes our healing stronger. And then obviously, I take health for the additional health bonuses. And then after the health, we do go into restoration. In terms of my iconic powers, we do take a couple of iconic powers here. Obviously, we take the super strengths for the 10% weaponization rating. Makes our weapon attacks do a little bit more damage and stuff. And then obviously I take the hard light shield, lasso, and we take Amazonian deflection, because you never know if you need Amazonian deflection for things. Other ones what you could take in here would probably be the bloom. If you wanted to run like a Gemini spam tank, you could probably grab that. Yeah. Pretty much it, man. To be honest, obviously super speed. We take dash attack, another good option as a tank. If you're super speed, if you're acrobatic have a shield in theirs as well, which is absolutely phenomenal. Like acrobatics is way better than dash attack, 100%. It's just I prefer being a precision DPS over might. I always try might, and I always try to go back to might DPS, but I hate it. It's just not as equal as a precision DPS. Like the balance just isn't there. So I'm always precision. Um, and obviously being precision, I need whirling dervish and I need vortex trap, to be able to clip my abilities. So I have to be super speed. And to be fair, I do prefer super speed over every other movement style. But I don't know, if I was playing for just fun and I didn't really care too much, I'd probably be skimming. In all honesty, because who doesn't want to roam around like you're on some ice skates or something? Do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of cool. I've always liked the concept of skimming, but yeah, acrobat's really solid for a tank. So don't sleep on acrobat. That's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much the tank loadouts and the DPS loadouts for Rage. I do stream 3 days a week. I stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday over on my Twitch channel. Sometimes on a Saturday for a bonus stream. Um, but yeah, we do stream over there. So go give me a like, subscribe, follow. Feel free to leave comments down below. Go and try this out for yourself. If you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, fair enough. It is what it is. It works for me. Yeah. Have a good one. Take care. All the best. Peace.